Collingwood brought in Jack Buller, Brody Mychek out. The Pies gave up a 2026 third round selection as a part of the deal that landed ex-Swan Jack Buller. But they did receive a 2026 fourth. This was probably one of the more quiet clubs of the trade period. Hard to really make much of what the Pies did.
No, I guess we can sort of take a look at where they're at, and their hands are a little bit tied, from a salary cap point of view and from a capital point of view, get anything done. Like they went to the party with Curnow. That was a weird way to say that. But, they tried to mingle at the Charlie Curnow party, and who else did they have a crack at? Bailey Humphrey. They just inserted themselves in these positions, but everyone's like, there is no way that Collingwood could get a deal done. So they're kind of just showing up because they're Collingwood.
I just pictured Justin Lepich there, like the old American Pie movie where he comes over and just laughs at that group of girls.
I can't remember that scene, but great films.
That's funny.
I should watch that movie the other day.
Yeah. But they're real no hope of getting some of these players. We know that there was some interest in Simpkins. So there was a late Jordan De Goey story. I don't know what happened here. I was talking about it with Swoop Luke, and we were joking, did John Ralph just hit post on a draft from 2 years ago? Because he posted something about De Goey leaving that nobody had heard of. At least that was my interpretation of what happened. So overall, they lose Mychek and they go to the draft and start with their first pick at pick 39. Do you remember what happened to their first rounder this year? But Dan Houston?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Yeah.
Actually, Justin Lepich spoke on the Jordan De Goey again on AFL.com on the De Goey situation, and actually did kind of say, I'm not 100% sure where this story came from.
Yeah, okay.
And most clubs were pretty honest about talking about the players that potentially investigated a trade, at least. Would you say the Leakalia one was maybe a potential player that they could have bought through?
Possibly.
Salary cap, I guess.
Yeah, I would just say, if the Saints offered $800K, would Leak take a much more reasonable offer to go to Collingwood? Maybe not. So, yeah, what I'm saying there is he may have been a little bit overpriced as an asset, so not a huge priority for them. Could have been worth trading pick 39 for, though, I would have thought, or a future second if that were the case. So, ultimately, look, Collingwood haven't really moved the needle, and they've lost Brody Mychek, who is an important avenue to goal. As people are saying in the comments, they'll get some players back from injury. Where did that comment go? Sideline players from 2025 will help us improve, says Voidoid Generation. That may be the case. But I would say they didn't really move in any particular direction with their list, and I do think Mychek is a loss from a competing in 2026 point of view.
It's funny how people talk about their club we're going to have all these players back from injury. But it's injuries can also happen in the future. I feel like we've been waiting for Zach Reid to have a full season of footy since he's been drafted, and he never has. Different club, but
Plus, you might get those players coming back from injury, and then Pendlebury and Sidebottom significantly drop off in 2026.
De Goey's been injury prone for much of his career, so just a little statement there about
they've had
all
a
these players back.
Pretty good run with the Dacos brothers as well. I know they're pretty durable, robust type players, but they've had a good run. Nick Dacos has never really had a serious injury. He's had little things that he's picked up across the season. Do we like I suppose you could make a narrative that Jack Buller is a bit of an age profile move for the Brody Mychek one, but then that doesn't really fit with where they are, what they're going to be aiming for in 2026, because it's a big if Jack Buller can actually play a significant role.
Yeah. He showed some good signs. I think Collingwood's hands were tied here. I just want to refer to a comment that someone on the internet says Pies list is about to fall off a cliff. I do agree it looks that way, but my prediction is in 12 months' time, they're going to blow up their list and probably sign 2 high-quality free agents. Maybe one of them is Ben King. Don't know if they'll be successful with Zach Butters. They could be. But if they're both free agents, watch them shed a lot of the older players on their list and just re-image their list and then come back again in a couple of years after that.
I find it really hard to see Collingwood getting better next year.
Next year, it's questionable. I think the thing is they're still such a good team that you could believe that they'd make a finals run. Yeah. But I don't think we can consider them a genuine premiership chance.
Yeah, I think they've peaked with the profile that they have. Not to say that they're going to absolutely fall off a cliff and need a full-scale rebuild, but it's hard to see.
Yeah. I think we'd accept if they did make a significant run, it would be a bit of a smash and grab from outside the 4.
Yeah. Seems unlikely, but like I said, there was only so much they could do this year. So they're going to probably have to drag their feet into 2026, and then I reckon watch for fireworks next year.
People bringing up some of the players like Harvey Harrison, Ed Allen, Will Parker, Charlie West.
None of them are going to be like massive needle movers.
That's the issue. I mean, most of those players like Charlie West and Will Hayes were the two players that they got in the 2024 draft, and they look good, and they look like they've picked pretty well for where they were on the draft board, but the reality is they're players that were taken outside the top 40 picks.
Yeah.
So the likelihood of them actually becoming stars is still pretty low.
Ed Allen as well, like, has good games, big body, but yeah, he's not going to be like an all-Australian caliber player, and obviously not every player is, but that just young talent is just really not going to move the needle for them. I
think the significant improvement that they could get in 2026 would be that Dan Houston, who they traded for, becomes the player that they expected him to be. He just had a pretty insignificant season. If he becomes a top 3 or 4 player at the club,
yeah,
maybe.
look out.